Here's something nobody tells you about retirement. You can pay off your mortgage, own your home free and clear, and still get a bill in the mail every single year that you have to pay. Or lose the house. That bill is your property tax. And as home values keep climbing, those bills keep climbing right along with them, even for folks living on a fixed Social Security check. But here's the part that almost no one talks about. According to AARP, only about 8% of the more than 9 million seniors who are legally entitled to property tax relief actually claim it. That means millions of older Americans are overpaying, sometimes by thousands of dollars a year, simply because no one told them the money was sitting right there. So today we're going through 14 states that are quietly cutting, freezing, or completely wiping out property taxes for seniors. Number 9 could save you thousands all by itself. Let's get started. Number 1, Alabama. Let's kick things off in the heart of Dixie, because Alabama has one of the most generous setups in the entire country, and barely anyone uses it. Here's the deal. If you are 65 or older in Alabama, you are completely exempt from the state portion of your property tax. That part is automatic in the sense that everyone over 65 qualifies. No income test required. But it gets even better for folks on a tighter budget. If you are 65 or older and your federal adjusted gross income is $7,500 or less, you can be fully exempt from all state, county, and school property taxes on your home. That is not a discount. That is a zero. The catch, and it is a big one, is that none of this happens on its own. There is a story financial advisors in Alabama love to tell about an 87-year-old woman who never claimed her exemption and missed out on more than 2 decades of savings, potentially thousands of dollars. You have to go down to your county revenue commissioner's office, prove your age with a driver's license or birth certificate, and file. So if you have a parent or grandparent in Alabama who is over 65, make the phone call for them. Number 2, Mississippi. Right next door in Mississippi, the over 65 crowd gets a deal that, for a lot of homeowners, eliminates property tax entirely. Mississippi assesses homes at just 10% of their true market value. On top of that, as of January 1st, 2026, homeowners who are 65 or older or who are totally disabled are exempt from all property taxes on the first $12,500 of that assessed value. Now do the math. Because of that 10% assessment ratio, $12,500 of assessed value works out to about $125,000 of actual market value. So if your home is worth $125,000 or less, your property tax bill in Mississippi can drop all the way to zero. This is a real change for 2026, by the way. The exemption used to cap out at $7,500 of assessed value, and lawmakers bumped it up. For seniors in lower-cost Mississippi counties, that's the difference between a partial break and paying nothing at all. One important warning: Mississippi does not automatically move you into the senior tier when you turn 65. You have to reapply with your county tax assessor in the next filing period after your 65th birthday. People have lost out on years of savings just because they didn't refile, so put it on the calendar. Number 3, South Carolina. The Palmetto State is a magnet for retirees, and its main senior tax break is refreshingly simple. It's called the Homestead Exemption, and if you are 65 or older, it shields the first $50,000 of your home's fair market value from property taxes. Here is what makes it stand out from a lot of other states. There is no income limit. It does not matter whether you are scraping by on Social Security or sitting on a healthy pension. If you are 65, own your home, and have lived in South Carolina for at least 1 full calendar year, you qualify for the full $50,000. And there is a second layer most people overlook. South Carolina taxes owner-occupied primary homes at a 4% assessment ratio, compared to 6% for second homes and rentals. Stack the legal residence classification together with the senior homestead exemption, and your effective tax burden becomes one of the lowest in the entire Southeast. You file once with your county auditor's office, bring proof of age, and you are set. Lawmakers have even been debating tripling that exemption to $150,000 for longtime residents, so it is worth keeping an eye on what your county announces. Number 4, Georgia. Georgia's approach is sneaky good, and the savings can be enormous, but only if you claim the right exemption. Here's the thing about a property tax bill. In most places, the single biggest chunk of it is school tax. Georgia lets a lot of seniors wipe out that school portion almost entirely. Depending on your county and your income, residents who are 62 and older can qualify for a full or partial exemption from school district taxes. Since school taxes are usually the largest slice of the pie, that one move can slash a bill dramatically. On top of that, homeowners 65 and older can claim a $4,000 exemption from county taxes if their income, not counting most Social Security and retirement, stays under the limit. Georgia recently rolled out a statewide floating homestead exemption that caps how much your taxable value can rise from year to year, protecting you from runaway assessments. Here's the kicker. Stack all of these correctly, and a Georgia senior on a median-priced home can save more than $3,000 a year. Claim only the default $2,000 homestead exemption, and you're looking at savings closer to $30. The gap between I filed something and I filed everything is where the real money lives. Call your county tax commissioner and ask about every senior exemption you qualify for. Number 5, Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the property tax relief for seniors, which is genuinely one of the best in the nation. There are two pieces, and together they're powerful. First, the over 65 school tax ceiling. The moment you turn 65 and apply, the dollar amount of school taxes on your home gets frozen, not the value, the actual tax bill. So even if your home doubles in value over the next decade and rates go up, your school taxes cannot rise above that ceiling. In a hot market like Texas, that's a fortune saved over the years. Second, the exemptions themselves keep growing. Seniors get an additional homestead exemption on their school taxes on top of the standard one every homeowner gets, and a 2025 law dramatically expanded the senior school exemption from $10,000 up to $60,000 of a home's value. Many local taxing units pile on their own senior exemptions too, and here's a Texas-specific tip. You can file the moment you turn 65, mid-year, and it takes effect that same tax year. Don't wait for January. Every month you delay is money out of your pocket. File Form 50 to 114 with your county appraisal district. Number 6, Louisiana. Louisiana already has one of the lowest property tax burdens in the country, and for seniors it gets even lighter. It starts with the homestead exemption that every Louisiana homeowner gets. The first $75,000 of your home's value is shielded from property tax. For a lot of modest homes in Louisiana, that alone covers most of the bill. Then comes the part built specifically for seniors, the special assessment level, which everyone just calls the senior freeze. If you are 65 or older and your household adjusted gross income is at or below roughly $102,700 for 2026, you can lock in your home's assessed value at its current level. Forever, as long as you live there. Property values in your neighborhood can shoot up year after year, and your frozen assessment does not budge. In a rising market, this quietly saves seniors thousands over time. One honest note: The freeze locks your assessed value, not the tax rate. If your parish votes to raise its millage, that can still nudge your bill. But the value freeze is the big protection. You apply with your parish assessor during the open rolls period, and once you are approved, it renews automatically as long as you keep meeting the income test. Number 7. Arizona. Arizona is a retirement hotspot, and it has a tool tailor-made for seniors watching desert home values go nuts. The Senior Value Protection option, often called the Senior Freeze. Here is how it works. If you are 65 or older, this program freezes the full cash value of your primary residence used to calculate your taxes. As long as you keep qualifying and renew, that value stays locked, no matter how high the market climbs around you. In the Phoenix and Tucson markets, where home values have surged, freezing your taxable value is a genuinely big deal. There are a few hoops. You generally need to have owned and lived in the home for at least 2 years. There is an income limit based on the number of owners, and it is adjusted each year. You apply through your county assessor's office, and unlike a one-and-done exemption, this freeze typically needs to be renewed every few years to keep it active. The seniors who benefit most are those who bought years ago and have watched their home value balloon. If that is you, freezing the value before it climbs even higher is one of the smartest moves you can make. Do not sit on it. Number 8. Colorado. Colorado's homestead exemption rewards people who have put down deep roots, and it is a straightforward percentage cut. If you qualify, the state exempts 50% of the first $200,000 of your home's actual value from property taxes. In plain English, up to $100,000 of your home's value comes off the table before the tax is even calculated. On a typical Colorado home, that translates into hundreds of dollars in savings every single year, and that adds up fast over a long retirement. The eligibility rules are where you need to pay attention. You generally have to be 65 or older as of January 1st. And here is the big one. You must have owned and lived in that same home into your primary residence for at least 10 years. Colorado built this one to reward long-term residents rather than people who just moved in. There is also a related classification for seniors who qualified for the exemption on a previous home but had to move. So even if you have relocated within the state, it is worth asking your county assessor whether you can carry the benefit forward. Either way, this is one you apply for once and then keep as long as you keep meeting the rules. Number 9. New Jersey. Now we get to the one that could save you thousands, and it's a state most people assume is hopeless on taxes. New Jersey has the highest property taxes in the country, which is exactly why the relief here is so massive. New Jersey now runs a program called Stay NJ, built specifically to keep seniors in their homes. If you're 65 or older and you've owned your home for at least 12 months in the tax year, you could qualify for savings of up to $6,500 on your property tax bill, depending on how much you actually pay. And the income ceiling is remarkably high, set at $500,000 or less, which means this isn't just for the lowest income households. A huge swath of New Jersey retirees qualify. On top of Stay NJ, the state still runs its long-standing Senior Freeze program, which lets homeowners 65 and older freeze their property taxes at a base year amount and reimburses you for increases above that. Many seniors can benefit from both programs at once. So if you've spent years grumbling about your Jersey tax bill, this is your moment. Up to $6,500 back is not a rounding error, it's real money. Check the state's Division of Taxation site for the current application window and don't let it pass you by. Number 10. New York. New York's school taxes are brutal, so naturally the state's best senior relief targets exactly that, and it is called Enhanced Star. Every New York homeowner can get Basic Star, but seniors get the upgraded version. If you are 65 or older and your income is under roughly $110,750 for 2026, Enhanced Star exempts a much larger chunk of your home's value from school taxes, with the typical senior saving anywhere from around $1,500 to $3,500 a year, depending on the school district. That is the single biggest line item on most bills, knocked way down. And in many local areas, you can stack a second program on top. The Senior Citizens Homeowners Exemption, or SCHE, can knock up to 50% off your assessed value for non-school taxes if your income is low enough. A 2025 law signed by the governor even gave localities the option to push that ceiling higher, up to 65% for qualifying seniors. The thing to remember with New York is that Enhanced Star has an income limit that gets checked, so you may need to enroll in the income verification program so it renews automatically. Contact your local assessor, and if you live in New York City, watch that mid-March SCHE deadline. Number 11, Washington. Washington State doesn't have an income tax, but it makes up for it with property taxes, which is why its senior program is a lifeline for a lot of retirees. If you were at least 61 years old in the prior year, or you are disabled, and your household income falls under your county's limit, you qualify for a property tax exemption that reduces what you owe. But the really valuable piece is what comes attached to it: a freeze on your home's taxable value. Once you are in the program, the value used to calculate your regular levies gets locked in at the year you first qualified. So as Seattle area and Puget Sound home values keep soaring, your taxable value stays put. The income limits are not a flat statewide number anymore. They are tied to the median income in your specific county, which means the threshold is actually pretty generous in higher cost areas. A lot of seniors who assume they make too much actually qualify and never bother to apply. This is a classic case of leaving money on the table out of a wrong assumption. Do not assume, check. Contact your county assessor, ask for the senior exemption application, and find out your county's exact income limit before you write it off. Number 12, Florida. You can't make a list about retirees and taxes without Florida, the retirement capital of America, and yes, the Sunshine State takes care of its seniors. Beyond the standard homestead exemption every Florida homeowner gets, counties and cities can offer an additional senior homestead exemption of up to $50,000 for residents 65 and older whose household income falls under a limit set around $38,000. That extra exemption comes right off your taxable value. But here's the hidden gem that long-term Floridians love: the long-term resident senior exemption. If you're 65 or older and you've lived in your home for 25 years or more, your locality can exempt up to $250,000 of your property's value from non-school taxes, subject to income limits. For someone who bought a little beach bungalow decades ago that's now worth a small fortune, that can mean an enormous reduction. Both of these are local option programs, meaning your county or city has to opt in, so the exact rules vary by where you live. And don't forget that income-based exemptions in Florida don't auto-renew. You typically have to re-verify by March 1st. Call your county property appraiser and ask which senior exemptions your area offers. Number 13, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania does something a little different. Instead of just shrinking your bill, The state sends you a check through the Property Tax Rent Rebate Program. If you're 65 or older, a widow or widower, 50 or older, or an adult with a disability, and your income is under the limit, which for the most recent claim year was $48,110, you can get a rebate of up to $1,000 on the property taxes you already paid. And here is a friendly quirk of the rules. Only half of your Social Security income counts toward that limit. So plenty of people who think their income is too high actually qualify once you do the real math. Governor Shapiro's administration expanded this program for the first time in nearly 2 decades, raising the maximum rebate from $650 up to $1,000, lifting the income caps and tying them to inflation going forward. The result? Hundreds of thousands of Pennsylvanians collected more than $300 million in rebates in a single year. Some homeowners in high-tax cities like Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Scranton can even qualify for an extra 50% supplemental rebate on top. It's free to apply through the state's MyPath system, and you can do it online in minutes. But you have to reapply every single year, so don't file once and forget it. Number 14, Montana. We'll wrap up out west in Montana, where seniors got some genuinely good news for 2026. The state rolled out a new tiered homestead property tax system designed to lower the rate on primary residences, with the Montana Department of Revenue projecting that average 2026 property tax bills will come in around 18% lower than 2024 bills. That helps everyone, but seniors in particular. On top of that broad relief, Montana runs a refundable income tax credit aimed squarely at older homeowners. If you are 62 or older and your household income is under about $45,000, you can claim a credit worth up to $1,150 for 2026. And because it is refundable, this is the magic word, you can get that money back as an actual payment even if you do not owe any state income tax at all. It directly offsets the property taxes you paid. To get into the new homestead system, you generally need to file during the enrollment window, which ran from December into early March. If you qualified before, you are often enrolled automatically, but it is worth using the state's online tool to double-check your status so nothing slips through the cracks. So there you have it, 14 states quietly handing seniors a break on property taxes, from full exemptions in Alabama and Mississippi to value freezes in Louisiana, Arizona, and Washington, to that jaw-dropping $6,500 in New Jersey. Here is the one thing to take away from all of this. Almost none of these programs are automatic. The money is real, but you have to go claim it. So whether it is for you or for a parent or grandparent, pick up the phone, call your county assessor or tax office, and ask the simple question, what senior property tax relief do I qualify for? It could be the most profitable phone call you make all year. If you found this helpful, give the video a like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more videos like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss one. Thanks for watching.